Thank you for this introduction.
You're welcome.
Therefore, I suggest that we go to the next presentation, which is mine. I will introduce as shortly as possible the labex before you'll see the presentation, more scientific presentation of the works and project in line. So I will get the control of my slides if possible. Okay. And okay, we have a short time to make this introduction. I will try to keep on the time so that we do not switch to the end of the day. So we have 6 partners, and they're affiliated universities, CNRS, INSERM, and Institut Mines Telecom. And I try to get to the next slide. If it works, does it works? I don't, okay, excuse me. Okay, so let's get back to this map. Okay, the north of France is better represented than the half of France, but you can see that we are these partners, and the idea at the origin of the labex was to federate, in fact, laboratories which already had a story, or rather long story for some of them, related to the development of healthcare technology, and we want to go further in order to improve the systems and to foster the clinical transfer and use of these systems. So at the origin, Philippe Cinquin launched this labex, and I took one of his former slides from that time, and I think that the motivation are still the same. In fact, there was already generation of computer-assisted medical intervention system developed. But in fact, most of them at the very beginning were technology adapted to the clinical side, and technology evolved a lot from that time. And also something was a little bit weak at that time was the evaluation of real added value of the system that were developed. And also we thought that there was really a place for improving the training of the actors, providing clinical knowledge to the engineers, and vice versa, and also developing tools for assisting the doctors, the physician in their own training. It's why we wanted to launch this program and try to do more together than all the laboratory alone. So our scientific background is always the same. I just use the same slide for a very long with this perception, decision, action framework, where really we wanted to provide physicians with better tools in order to make better decisions about diagnosis and treatment of patients based on better use of information and fusion of this information, use of knowledge, a priori information, and so on. And of course, we need a guiding system to perform what has been planned. And above all of this, we want to prove that the system are safe and they provide a medical benefit. And it's why all these different topics are gathered in the actions of the CAMI labex. It's where we end up with these 5 actions, scientific axes, let's say, about perception, decision, action, training, education, let's say, and medical benefits. And to implement this work, we built different sub-actions. And one very important activity of the labex is the supervision of thesis PhD program. And we have launched many theses that you will see in the next slide along these 5 topics. And the rule at the really base of this work was to have co-supervision by at least 2 labex partners. And there is almost no exception to this rule, and it's really a basis for collaboration between the lab. Also, you will see in the talk there are integrated projects which are also kind of collaborative innovation development, and you will see the different topics that have been covered. And we also try to implement some collaborative tools that can be working groups, that can be software open platform and the related support for improving the collaboration between partners. Also, one thing very important is to go closer to the clinics. And for this, we also funded some specific action. For instance, sometimes you need demonstrators to better implement an idea. And we funded such demonstrator, and we funded also at least partly clinical studies in order to go further towards the application. Teaching, it's also an important activity. It's not that easy to implement it at the national level. It's why the actions were more focused on summer schools or things like that. And we hope that the labex itself could increase our international visibility. So the collaborative project, I will not say detailed things about that. You see there are 6. Each of them was animated by one of the partners of the labex, and they are supposed to last 3 or 4 years, but most of them are still working, even with other funding, because topics are very generic and are long-term issues. So it's generally a clinical question. Am I able to model a surgical activity, for instance? And based on this question, there are scientific projects related to that and collaboration of the partners. So during the talks, you will see that several of these topics will be presented, and the work, the progress that has been made on these topics and how it will continue for the rest of the labex. Something we are very proud is the number of theses that have been launched by CAMI. You can see here 49 today have been founded or co-funded by the labex. And 30 have been already defended, 16 are in progress, and unfortunately 3 stopped. 2 because the student found some job in a big company of computer-assisted medical intervention. It was lucky for them, but not for us. And among the 49, we have also 3 with external partners that brought their funding. Half of the funding. And that's an action that we want to promote during the rest of the labex, is to foster also external collaboration with other labs in France or elsewhere, providing that these labs bring half of the funding to on the topics of the labex. On the gender issue, we are not as good as we could be, but it's not as worth, I imagine. So 9 female over 40 male on the 50. So that's okay. We can improve this ratio. We have many publications, patents, also startups that directly were created thanks to the labex or benefited from the labex activity, demonstrators, and so on. And also several clinical studies being part of the labex CAMI. As I said, the summer schools were an important dissemination activity. I will just come back on the next slide on that. And very impressive, I took this number from our report for last year, and you can see that, okay, ETPT is a French administration notion that they are very creative. That means that it's equivalent to people that would be for the full project at full time. So that means that the project is already 8 years long, and that means that the equivalent in manpower is 82 persons over the 8 years. So that's a number of person year. Of course, the labex has not funded every people, because many of them are paid either by CNRS, university, and so on, or other project. But that's really a very huge task force for providing results. Okay, so regarding scientific animation, I already mentioned some of them, but of course we had an inauguration at the beginning of the LabX in 2012, and each year we have CAMI days. So this year is a little bit special, as you have noticed, and therefore we plan to have a meeting on 2 days in Grenoble with demonstration and so on. Finally, it's a video conference, but that's okay, and I hope that you will enjoy this day. And we have also combined these CAMI days sometime with a Surgetica conference. It was a national and European conference that we launched long ago with Professor Philippe Merlos and myself. I think the first one was in Grenoble in year 2000, and you have seen that we had 3 also in Surgetica. We had the involvement in the organization and support of international conferences by the partners. You can see a list, also the organization of workshop challenges. And as I said, the activity around summer schools was really very intense, especially regarding the summer school of Montpellier of surgical robotics and the summer school of Brittany and biomedical imaging, which are really long-lasting events. Also, something important, we wanted to have a partnership with the French Academy of Surgery, and it's why we launched an award. CAMI gives an award every year to a junior surgeon who has developed a special activity, scientific activity around CAMI. And you can see the list here of awardees since 2015. The last year is Anna Daoudi, who is an ENT surgeon. And it's very important for us to promote this for the young surgeons, so that they feel really supported by the scientific community in developing such work. Okay, so next I just try to keep the slide again. I don't. Okay, our achievement, we are very proud, okay, of the numbers that you have seen, but also what was really cool was that, okay, at the beginning, all the partners knew each other, but a few of them had collaboration with all of them, and so after 8 years of collaboration, of leave of CAMI life, all partners have developed collaboration with all partners, and that's really cool. And that initiated really a CAMI spirit, which is very important for the national progress of this discipline. Those progress were made possible, okay, because of the partners, but also because they have other initiatives that supported this work that could be, I will not go into the list, but there were both national and local initiatives, both on the academic, clinical, industrial transfer side, also regarding platforms. And all this really supported a lot our work, and we also contributed a lot to these different actions. We, of course, write extra funding based on the project that we have, and it's a large amount because the initial funding of CAMI by ANR, by the Investissement d'Avenir, was 7.5 million euros in the first period of 2012 to 2020. And the second funding, after prolongation, extension of the LabX, is 3.3 million euros, 3 extra million. So you see that we already had more extra funding than original funding, and that's important. Okay, get back to my mouse once again if it want to work. So what next? As I said, we have been extended after an evaluation in 2018. We were extended for 5 more years with less money, but okay, we wanted to go further in our project. And the topics on which we want to put emphasis during this second phase of the LabX are artificial intelligence, and we want to improve the decisional capabilities of a CAMI system at all stages. That means also that your sensor can be more intelligent, your model can carry more knowledge, your robot can be more autonomous, and so on. So many progress can be made in that sense. And also we have a special focus regarding really minimally invasive endoluminal intervention. Of course, this is not limited. That means that we can have other activities apart from these two topics, but similarly to the integrated project of the first period of CAMI, those two challenges are the two challenges that should be really intensively explored. So for today, what's the organization? A few words about that. First of all, you have seen that there are two modes of connection, which is not so simple. Partners and the advisory boards, invited people are connected through Zoom, VideoConf, and to be able to have a much larger audience, we also have diffusion using YouTube. So again, thank you to all the attendees, whatever the medium you have chosen. One thing that we would like is that the people on the YouTube could fill a form which is attached in the YouTube page, so that we can have information about who you are, what topic you are interested in, and of course we would be really interested in getting your opinion about this day and any question you would have. Regarding the question, since it's difficult to handle both media and many people, we would like to have people asking their question through the chat, either the Zoom chat or the YouTube chat. That means that please do not use the chat with the public audience to say, hello, how are you doing? Just keep it for questions. And the chairman will try to get the question for both media so that everyone can interact with the speakers. We will have video sessions instead of the demonstration that would have taken place if we would have been in a presential conference. So also for this video session, we can take one question per video. And again, we will have the chairman handling this. Please keep on the schedule because the day will be very long. Thanks to everyone, and also a special thanks to Taha and Catherine, who really were a key person for organizing this day. Okay, I hope that at the end of the day, you will be in a better shape than this guy, and I wish you an excellent meeting. And I suggest that we skip to the first presentation with Philippe as a chairman.